All right, you guys. Today we have a special pre-post game show. So typically I upload these videos publicly whenever spoilers drop on a Monday, just to fill in the Tuesday void. But since that's very rare, and since spoilers normally drop on Tuesdays anyways, I don't have a chance to do this. So today, because the chapter is just that immaculate, I do want to see what everybody's talking about, right? I have looked through most of the comments myself already, but I think it would be fun to just go over some of these in a video format too. So, with that being said, getting right to it, these are the comments to the reaction video. Top one says, something with Dragon saving the kids goes wrong. At least I believe it must. It could explain how Shanks ends up in the chest, but maybe Garling stops him before he's able to hide Shamrock too. I like this. As much as people might not like this idea being floated around, I do think that Dragon potentially might get his ass whooped here. I bet he'll do good against most matchups, but you gotta keep in mind, right? This is 17-year-old Dragon. This is a young Marine Dragon. According to the spoilers, right, he has no title. He might not even have a Devil Fruit yet, so I think he will witness the terror of the God Knights here on this island. So yeah, maybe he hides Shanks, and then Garling steps in, beats his ass, and then, of course, takes Shamrock. And one thing I've been seeing people talk about, and I do agree with this, I'll talk about it in the next video as well, but people are saying that since Dragon is most likely the one who put Shanks in the chest, he must have taken something out of that chest in the process. Potentially, his Devil Fruit, which I love that idea. I think that'd be really cool. And that would explain why he is, underpowered on this island as well. He's too young to be fighting all these legends right now. Dragon is presumably attacking the Holy Land right now. The kid he saved is probably fighting him. Oh, Shamrock, maybe. Yeah, I would like that. I mean, honestly, it's funny because I held a poll a while back saying, hey, guys, who is attacking the Holy Land? Blackbeard, Shanks, Dragon, yada, yada. And personally, I could see all three of them attacking the Holy Land. I could definitely see that being the case. And, now that we know that Dragon was there and he witnessed the terror, I wonder why Blackbeard doesn't like Dragon. What does Dragon do there that, makes Blackbeard want to hunt the revolutionaries? Because you gotta remember, that is a small subplot that's been going on for a while now. Blackbeard, unprovoked, attacked Baltigo. Blackbeard, unprovoked, has been watching the revolutionary actions via Lafitte. So there's something odd here. Maybe we'll see that Dragon, I don't know, left Blackbeard's mom to die. Maybe Dragon ran past Blackbeard and that just stuck with him. There's something there. Dragon will do something, in my opinion, that sparks a guttural reaction from Blackbeard. Something that causes a lifelong grudge, I would bet. This one says, cannot wait for the Dragon ... panel in face of a fatally stabbed woman. That's crazy. I mean, to be fair, this is a very different ... right? It's the ... of shock and horror. But I do think that meme is really funny. Speaking of memes, have you guys seen the Vinsmoke Romeo memes on Twitter? That shit is hilarious. So if you don't know, hopefully I'll do my due diligence and put a picture up right here. Or you can just Google Vinsmoke Romeo. But Oda, I think 30 years ago, drew up a picture of Ryuma and a guy named Romeo. And of course, based on their appearances, it's supposed to be like a prototype version of Zoro and Sanji. And then, Ryuma later got canonized and became his own thing here in One Piece. Whereas Romeo kind of got left in the dust. But now people are, bringing him into the canon by giving him the Vinsmoke name, which is just hilarious. I've seen so many Vinsmoke Romeo memes, it is just something else, brother. It's so funny. Shanks and Teach's moms are from the same island, possibly related. Yes, I do think they could be related. Or maybe they're not related, but they know each other. There's going to be a connection there. And, funny enough, going back to Twitter, I saw somebody post a meme of Naruto. If you guys watch Naruto, you know what I'm going to reference. But Sasuke's mom knew Naruto's mom. And they actually walked past each other at one point. And they're like, hey, nice kid. Oh, his name's Sasuke. Cool. Mine is Naruto. Right? We're going to get something like that. I almost guarantee it. There's no way we don't. We're officially getting those first row seats for the God Valley flashback. What a time to be alive. Yes. Here's an idea of who Blackbeard's mom could be. Oh, here we go. If Rox himself is actually named Davy D. Zubek, a descendant of Davy D. Jones, Blackbeard's mom could be Marshall D. Carey. or Mother Carey to be more precise. I do not know who that is. Mother Carey is a supernatural figure personifying the cruel and threatening sea in the imagination of the 18th and 19th century English-speaking sailors. The entity was supposed to be a harbinger of storms and a similar character to Davy Jones, who may be her husband. Gotta say, I like the theory. I like where your mind's at. And Oda, for a lot of the characters of One Piece, has pulled in real-life references or real-life accounts of pirates and historical or mythological figures. So I like this theory based on that alone. But now that you mentioned, Davy Jones, I do wonder if Oda will pull in Calypso. Because in Pirates of the Caribbean, Calypso is kind of like that. And I do think Calypso is just one of those pirate icons that Oda could bring in, right? Outside of the movies, right, with Jack Sparrow, Calypso is like a real figure. So that's another good one. Carey, Calypso, anything like that. We could get a Dragon and Garling confrontation next chapter. We could. I think we actually will. And that's going to be super exciting. One of my favorite characters meeting another character. That's going to be great. Now, I could see 3 possible fights for Dragon. Garling, Shamrock, and Akainu. Also, Dragon could tell Shamrock that her mother died protecting him from his father. He might already know. I think there's a chance he might already know. Shamrock, he's not young, right? I'm assuming he already knows this information, but that's my headcanon. As far as Dragon fights, my headcanon, again, I always have to, preface it with that. I do think Dragon's gonna fight Akainu. I can see Dragon fighting Akainu, maybe even some of the other admirals as well, and then acquiring them like Pokemon. Because you gotta imagine, Dragon is a part of that era, right? He was in the same class as Akainu most likely, so I wouldn't be shocked if Dragon is the one who wakes Akainu up saying, hey, brother, this is the wrong way to go about things, right? These are the bad guys, not us. And then Akainu, after, maybe getting his ass whooped, he's like, you know what, Dragon? I guess I'll follow you. Same with Fujitora, same with Kizaru, etc. I think Dragon could be the wake-up call for a lot of characters from his generation. So yeah, Dragon versus Akainu, and then maybe Dragon and Akainu join up to fight somebody else, like maybe Garling. I think that'd be pretty sick. I am a big fan of team-up fights. People kind of groan when they hear that, but 2v1s or 3v1s, I think it's awesome, as long as it's well choreographed. This one says, I've always thought that Sabo would fight Akainu. I never thought this. I don't mind this theory. I just never thought this. Mainly because, one, it would be a nice revenge match, but at the same time, it's like, Sabo and Akainu, they haven't really had much interaction, so I think that's why I can't necessarily see it. Sabo's never said anything about Akainu. Akainu's never said anything about Sabo, minus his title. So, yeah. Maybe they spar for a little bit. Because, like I said, I don't think it's bad. So, I could definitely see Sabo versus Akainu for a little bit. And then Dragon steps in and then he finishes the fight. Like, maybe Dragon shows up and he's like, hey, Sabo, leave this to me. I know this guy. Maybe Sabo gets in a couple of good hits. I think I could give him that, right? Sabo really injures Akainu with Ace's Devil Fruit. I would love that. And then Dragon comes in and he says, hey, Sabo, your job is elsewhere. I got this. I'll fight my former brother in arms. I think that is a nice middle ground. Do you think maybe Garland killed Luffy's mom as revenge on Dragon for not getting Shanks? I already replied to this one earlier. I said I definitely think it's possible. It's just payback, and or Luffy's mom could have been sought after by Celestial Dragons too, if she's attractive. Yeah, I do not think Dragon's tragedy will end here. I definitely think Luffy's mom will be subjected to something awful. But, maybe that's just too cruel. If Wang Ji betrayed Rocks and Caribou is his son, I think Blackbeard will kill him when they meet. This could be the case, but with this, it all just depends if Blackbeard knows or not that Caribou is indeed Wang Ji's son. And of course, this is still just a theory. I love that everybody's kind of running with this one. But yeah, if Caribou is the son, and if Blackbeard knows, I could see him getting revenge. 100%. Or imagine if Caribou successfully backstabs Blackbeard. Like father, like son. Wang Ji betrayed Rocks, Caribou betrays Blackbeard. That would be tough. That would be tough. Okay. So now on to the main YouTube video I posted, and then later we'll get to the Patreon comments as well. Top comment. We're not going to read too many. I don't want to go on for too long. It's already 3 a.m. again. It's tough, brother. People are like, hey, Sai, why are you up so late? I work late, man. I work late, get home late, and then this is me after showering, so it's like, okay, I'm tired, but we're gonna power through. A child is a parent's biggest weakness. Dragon's quote hits entirely so much harder considering he learned this lesson from Shanks' mother. That could be it. I mean, it's also just first-hand experience too, right? When you have a kid, you just want to protect them. No wonder Rox ran real fast into the island once they boarded. None of his crew... That is true. Yeah, Rox did leave before anybody could have the chance to jump off the ship. None of his crew members were aware about his family, and that's why they thought Rox was running recklessly into God Valley. Yes, I love this. Man, Rox, he's a great character. You know, at some point, when you say you like Roxy Syvduck, people will stop saying recency bias. You know, they're going to stop dropping the R word, but yeah, Rox is all around a phenomenal character. I love him so much. You know, I started to really like Rox when he showed that his relationship with Harald meant something when he kicked Kaido. That's when I was like, whoa, like, I kind of like this guy. And then, of course, we have all the ore farming moments, and then we had the Rox and Harald fight, and now we have this, and it's like, yeah, like, I can't hate Rox, dude. I love this guy. Design-wise, I wish he looked a little bit different, but totally fine, right? I think his story, at least for me, makes up for it. This says, what I learned from Jay is that per agenda, all Shanks fans have to praise Dragon now because he's the reason he lives. Yo, shout outs to Jay. Shout outs to Jay. Calling it out. Dragon will swap Shanks for whatever fruit is in the chest, and that's how he gets his fruit. Yep, we talked about that earlier. Rox is trying to free the slaves and save his family and got jumped by Garp and Roger. I'm crying. Dude, that's tough. I've seen so many memes about this too. People are saying Rox is trying to save his son and wife from being hunted down like rabbits. And then you have Garp and Roger stopping him, you know, body blocking him and killing him. There's got to be more to it. I think Roger, maybe even the same with Garp. I feel like once they got off on the island, they quickly changed objectives. Maybe that's just me, but I could see them switching up for a little bit, saying, hey, Rox, like, we'll actually help you. And then maybe Rox sees that his wife dies, and then he starts going on a rampage. And then that is when Garp and Roger are like, hey, Rox, you're too crazy right now, man. You got to calm down. We know that something bad happened, but you got to stop killing people. Maybe that's it. That's the only, like, explanation or way to make Garp and Roger not look like maniacs, right? So I think that is going to be the most plausible thing, but we will see. We will see. And then as far as who killed Rox, I do think that's Garling. I will hold a poll on that later, but I think I do want to put the onus on Garling, or whoever was the supreme commander at the time. Maybe even a Gorse member does it, right? Saturn was on the island, and I don't want to give it to Saturn. You know, Saturn, giving him the Rox kill, I think is egregious. But if he were to summon the other Gorse members with the summoning circle, maybe they do it. Or maybe it's like a Pain Akatsuki moment where, you know, you have all of them just jumping on Rox. That'd be kind of cool. The 5 Gorse members all stabbing Rox. Sick, dude, sick. Dragon saves Shanks. Shanks saves Luffy, yes. Tekking is going to flip when he reads this chapter. I didn't even think about Tekking. But yeah, because of the Wang Ji betrayal, Tekking's gonna go crazy, brother. That's so funny. And the craziest part is that I don't know if he'll love it or hate it, you know? Because ever since he got the Wang Ji reveal, he's always been like, Wang Ji, huh? We'll see, we'll see. This chapter makes Blackbeard beating Wang Ji for control of Pirate Island even more cathartic. That is true. Yeah, that is... I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Blackbeard beating Wang Ji, that's like a revenge match. Like, hey, you got my father into this circumstance in the first place. Well, yes and no. Rox was going to go to God Valley regardless. Shaki was just another reason. And I would say that Wang Ji didn't help, though, right? If Wang Ji was on the island, things might have changed. If Don Marlone were still alive, things might have changed, right? You can't underestimate the manpower of a single strong pirate. So, yeah, Wang Ji not being there for his dad and betraying him when he needs allies the most is pretty absurd. Rox, they're gonna kill my wife, child, and destroy my homeland, Roger. Roger, where is Shaki at, though? Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, where's Shaki at? Come on! I bet Roger, like I said, I think he flipped the minute he got there. Like, there's no way, right? Like, hey, let's go rescue Shaki. Let's rescue Shaki. Wait a minute. Everybody's being hunted. Maybe we rescue more than just Shaki. We'll see, we'll see. Oda's really been in his bag in Elbaf, yes. I mean, this is the thing, right? Because we're in the final saga, Oda can finally drop everything he's been building up, everything he's had in his back pocket. Yeah, he's been in his bag. Dragon fans, where are you at? We are up. Yeah, the thing is, right? I don't like Dragon. You know, I've mentioned it time and time again. I'm not the biggest Dragon fan. I don't vote against him, though, right? I've never once said that he's going to be lame or he's going to be not important or weak. I've been a strong Dragon advocate. He's just not my type of character. You know, people get it twisted all the time. I see people saying, Sai, you slander Dragon. I just don't like Dragon, man. You know, it's like arguing with the guy who doesn't like the color orange. You're not going to convince me to like the color orange. It's a great color, just not my color. But yeah, for the Dragon fans, though, he is finally here, and things are looking good. Granted, I don't know how much he's going to show out here in God Valley. I feel like it's going to build up for him later, but we at least have him, right? And I think this is more than we can ask for. It's been years, you know, we'll take anything when it comes to Dragon at this point. My God. Bro really died just trying to save his family. This flashback has very quickly turned Rocks into a fan favorite and actually not a bad guy. I feel like Oda is going to masterfully change everyone's perception on Blackbeard, and could be similar to the dynamic of Aliens and Malay. I don't know what those are, but yeah, sure, we'll go with it. You know, it's got a lot of likes, so they're probably true. Let me see. Is this a reference I should get? It's Attack on Titan. Okay. Yeah, I know about Attack on Titan's ending, but I haven't watched it myself. But yeah, I know the general gist of this. So, okay. Blackbeard went from Marshall D. Teach to Rocks D. Teach to David. Yeah, this is crazy. The name changes are insane. Teking's gonna have a field day with the Wong lore. So you mean to tell me Rocks had to go through Harald, Roger, Garp, Celestial Dragons, and the whole world government? The true One Piece goat, I don't care. Hey, people are still in a tizzy about liking Rocks too much. But yeah, Rocks is just a great guy. I love Family Men. I love that he, you know, crashed out for his family. Some people still hate this, believe it or not. Some people still say that, you know, Rocks, he threw away his ambition for his family? Why? You know, at first, even for Shaki, I was like, okay, that's agreeable, right? You know, Shaki, she's still a woman. I wouldn't want her to just get sold off into slavery. And if she was on your island and she was under your protection, yeah, save her, dude. And people were arguing against that. And then now we have, you know, Rocks' family here, and people are still arguing against it. How? How's that possible, dude? It actually doesn't make any sense, bro. I think Shanks is aware of what Dragon did for him when he was just an infant, which is why he's so caring and loving towards Luffy. Apart from the obvious Roger x Luffy parallels, of course, that is true. Maybe he knows and he feels indebted. I think it would even be cool if Shanks didn't know. You know, like I said, I'm on the boat that he does know, but if he didn't know and he just helped Luffy out of pure kindness, that would be great too. Dragon, saving Luffy, Sabo, and even the Child of Destiny. The disappointment on Sai's face when Oda didn't continue with the Moria reveal. Hey, it's funny, you know, when I still think about the Moria reveal, sorry, I'm gonna bring it up. It's like the boogeyman, right? A reoccurring nightmare. People don't like it when I talk about Moria, but the Moria reveal genuinely made my week, brother. It was so good. Just one page made me smile for a while. Also, major shoutouts to Dragon for finally doing something, albeit in a flashback, and a warm welcome to the legendary Davy D. Jones. This might be one of the greatest chapters of the year, considering all the epic reveals. We'll actually read one more, I'm curious. Plot twist. Dragon took one of the babies, Shamrock, raised him up to be a spy. Hence, he says he will wait for the Holy Knights to make a move, meaning Shamrock giving a signal of sorts. Oh. Dragon raising Shamrock. I mean, we have been getting a lot of traitors. A traitor within the Holy Knights, I don't think is awful. But I don't think this is the case. I feel like Garling did get Shamrock in the end. I feel like Garling definitely just fought back for him. He can't lose both of his kids, right? And then Shamrock, like... You know, if he was raised in the lower realm, I don't think they would just take him back right away. But I mean, then again, they were willing to take Shanks back, so I don't know. All right, so now on to Patreon comments. The first one says, this also raises the question, did Garp and Roger really kill Rocks? Like I said, I don't think they did. I think they might have tried to stop Rocks near the end, but I don't believe that they did the finishing blow. You know, considering that they kind of stand as rivals to each other, right? When we started the flashback, they're like, yeah, this is the era of, you know, Garp and Roger and Rox. Like, these legendary names are just running around all the time. They felt like rivals in a way. I don't think they would kill Rox. I feel like they would subdue him, but killing is maybe a step too far, in my opinion. Rox's primary reason to being at God Valley was for his family, so when the Rox pirates landed on God Valley, what did Whitebeard mean when he said, Rox is going to forget what we came here for? That is probably because the Rox pirates, in my opinion, believed that they were going after Shacky. You know, because that's what we heard of in the very beginning, you know. The Rox pirates are coming for the treasure of Hachinosu. They want the treasure back. That is what I'm assuming the higher officers like Whitebeard, you know, Shiki, Big Bomb, etc., and Kaido, like that's what they all believe. But for Rox, he had his real motive in mind, and he didn't tell anybody, which was his family. But now, next comment, they say Dragon upscale. Yeah, I mean, okay, to be fair, Dragon hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't done anything, but yeah, Dragon, I believe that he's going to be like top 5 of the verse. There's no way he's not insane. You know, I kind of memed with Brago about this, but if there were a character who could give, you know, quotation marks, give other people hockey, I think it would be Dragon. Because I think that's very befitting of the revolutionary commander, right? Because he has so many bozos under his command, so many losers, I would love it if he was able to share his hockey with his subordinates. Like, hey, you know, the common man can pick up a sword and fight just as well as anybody else because I'm there with them. That right there sounds and seems like an anime thing that they could do. Smokey, shout out to Smokey. Yo, brother, I really like the brief spoilers. I can't remember a better short summary. This is a pretty good one, I will admit. I did like this summary a lot, but it's tough because we do have this year the Harley text to compete against, right? We did get the mural this year, and I think that might be my favorite brief spoilers so far. Would it be? I think so. This year, at least, the mural still takes top dog. This would be like maybe second or third. The Rox reveal was still crazy. You know, Rox coming to Elbaf is insane. And as much as people meme on it, I do genuinely think Gecko Moria was a cool reveal. But I'm a Gecko Moria fan, right? So I am biased when it comes to that. But yeah, this one, though, definitely worth the hype. I will admit. Also, look at the thumbnail, dude. People are like, oh, Sai, what is this? What is this thumbnail? It's Gishki, man. It's Yu-Gi-Oh! Gishki. Because of Davy Jones, I said, hey, let's put a Yu-Gi-Oh! Squid Man here to represent him. But with that being said, though, guys, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out this video. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought down below, and I'll catch you guys when the full spoilers drop in probably 12 hours. I need to get some sleep, brother. Peace out.